Welcome to Creative Imperfections, the podcast where perfection is overrated and messy magic gets the spotlight. I'm so glad you're here. There's a quiet trap creatives fall into. It doesn't look dangerous at first. In fact, it looks like ambition, goals, vision boards, metrics, results. But over time, that tightens. It's called outcome obsession. Outcome obsession is when your joy, confidence, and sense of worth get outsourced to something that hasn't happened yet. The booking, the launch numbers, the download count, the email reply, the yes. And until that thing shows up, you're suspended, waiting, judging yourself, second-guessing everything. But here's the problem with that, and what most people don't want to admit. Creatives don't quit because they lack talent. They quit because they tie their identity to outcomes that they can't control. And that is exhausting. Outcome obsession is exhausting. Let's be honest here. You didn't start creating because of the outcomes. You started because something in you needed to be expressed. Something wanted to move through you. Outcome obsession sneaks in later on, usually after comparison or pressure or being told that you should be further by now. And suddenly the work isn't play anymore. It's proof. Proof that you're good enough. Proof you made the right choice. Proof you're not wasting time. But here's a truth that could set you free. Outcomes are simply lagging indicators. They show up after alignment, not before it. You don't control the timing. You don't control your audience's reaction. You don't control the algorithm, the casting choice, the buyer's mood, or the room that you're in. But creatives try to control all of those things anyway. And when they can't, they turn that frustration inward. I must be doing it wrong. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I missed my window. No. You're just measuring the wrong thing. Outcome obsession creates 3 dangerous patterns. First of all, it kills presence. You're so focused on where the work is supposed to go that you're not actually in the work. You rush, you overthink, you abandon curiosity and creativity. Second, it distorts feedback. A no then becomes a personal failure instead of neutral information. Silence becomes rejection instead of what it is. And suddenly, every result feels like a verdict on you as a creative human. Third, it disconnects you from process trust. You stop believing the work itself has value unless it performs. And that's exactly where burnout lives. So how do we shift this without pretending outcomes don't matter? Because they do matter. Bills exist, goals exist, dreams exist. And the thing is, the goal isn't to stop caring. The goal is to change what you give power to. So here's a reframe I have for you. You don't own outcomes. You own inputs. Inputs like effort, integrity, preparation, consistency, curiosity, recovery. Those are yours. Outcomes are collaboration between timing, people, market, readiness, and oftentimes luck. So when you obsess over outcomes, you give power to variables that you don't control. When you anchor into inputs, you can reclaim that power. Here's a practical shift that you can make immediately. Instead of asking, did this work? Ask, did I show up fully for this? Instead of, did I book it? Ask, did I honor the work? Instead of, did this get traction? Ask, did I move 1 inch forward with intention? Progress isn't loud. Progress is cumulative. Creative empowerment comes from self-trust, not external validation. And self-trust is built when you keep promises to yourself, especially when no one is watching. Outcome obsession is often fear in a productivity costume. It's fear of being seen, fear of wasting time, fear of choosing wrong, fear that if it doesn't work, it means something about you as a person. So you cling to results as reassurance, but reassurance never comes from the future. It comes from alignment in the present. Here's a grounding practice that I love. At the end of your creative day, ask yourself 3 things. Did I create with honesty today? Did I take one brave action? Did I respect my energy? That's it. No metrics, no comparison. If you can answer yes to even one of those questions, you're doing the work. Another empowering shift is to detach success from speed. Fast doesn't mean right. Slow doesn't mean failing. Some seasons are for visibility and some are for skill building. Some are for recovery, some are for quiet recalibration. Outcome obsession treats every season like it's supposed to produce fireworks. Real creative careers are built in chapters, and not every chapter is meant to be impressive. Now, here's the crazy paradox. When you release outcome obsession, outcomes often improve because you're relaxed, you're present, playful, connected, and that in itself is magnetic. People can feel when you're chasing approval. They can also feel when you're grounded in your work. Empowerment doesn't come from controlling the result. It comes from trusting yourself regardless of the result. So today, I want to give you permission to do something radical. Let your work be enough. Let effort count. Let alignment matter. Your job is not to force the future. Your job is to show up, honest, and open today. Outcomes will catch up. They always do. And when they do, you'll still recognize yourself. Not because you won, but because you never abandoned the work that made you you. That's where the magic lives, right in that imperfect middle. And always remember, there's magic in your imperfections. Go out there and find it. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Creative Imperfections. If you have a friend who could use this advice right now, please feel free to share this with them and make sure you subscribe.